China's leaders may be watching Ukraine with an eye on Taiwan. As the world's attention focuses on the escalating crisis between Russia and Ukraine, a spotlight has also been turned on an island halfway around the world, self-governing Taiwan. On the surface, there may be parallels. Both Taiwan and Ukraine are Western-friendly democracies whose status quo could be upended by powerful autocracies. In Taiwan's case, China Communist Party seek eventually reunification with the island it claims as a territory despite having never governed it, and has not ruled out doing so by force. For Ukraine, the threat is unfolding. Russian President Vladimir Putin has said they consider Russian and Ukrainians as one people. It's yet unclear how far he will go to realize that claim. On Monday, he declared two breakaway Moscow-backed territories in Ukraine as independent republics. World leaders themselves have implied connections between the fastest of Ukraine and Taiwan in recent weeks. Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen has said Taiwan could empathize with Ukraine's situation given its experience with military threats and intimidation from China. Half of Russia says it would be right to use military force to keep Ukraine out of NATO. As the world waits to see if Russia will invade Ukraine, an exclusive new poll of both countries for CNN finds that twice as many Russians believe it would be right for Moscow to use military force to prevent Kyiv from joining the North Atlantic Treaty Organization NATO, as say it would be wrong. 1 out of every 2 Russians, 50% says it would be right, while only a quarter, 25%, says it would be wrong. The other quarter, 25%, are unsure, according to the survey. But the poll found that more Russians think it would be wrong than the right to use military force to reunite the Russia and Ukraine, two countries with a long and complicated history of being intertwined. It's a close call. Of 43% of Russia's said use of military force against Ukraine to join it to Russia would be wrong, while 36% said it would be right. The rest of the respondents say they don't know if it would be right or wrong. Perhaps unsurprisingly, most people in Ukraine disagree with the use of force against them. 7 out of 10 respondents there said it would be wrong for Russia to use military force to prevent Ukraine from joining NATO, 70%, or to reunite the two countries, 73%. Russia moving some forces and tanks into eastern Ukraine, Latvian PM says. Russian troops have moved into the eastern region of Ukraine that Russia has now recognized as independent, according to the Prime Minister of NATO member Latvia and sources familiar with the latest US intelligence assessments. According to the information at my disposal, Putin is moving additional forces and tanks into the occupied Donbas territories. Latvian Prime Minister Arturs told CNN's Jim on Wednesday. By the definition, that's a crossing of sovereign territory into neighboring country. Pressed specifically on whether he was referring to the entry of additional Russian troops since Moscow recognized the two separatist regions earlier this week. Krins replied, "Yes, according to the information at my disposal, this is exactly what we are seeing." Two other sources familiar with US intelligence confirmed to CNN that additional Russian troops have in fact crossed the border into the Donbas region since Russian President Putin recognized the two regions and issued an order to develop peacekeepers into the Donbas on Tuesday. Secret recordings show how presidents work. Presidents today guard their privacy and their phone calls. They claim executive privilege to avoid telling Congress about the advice they get, the promises they make behind closed doors. Gone are the days of Oval Office recordings, like the ones that forced President Richard Nixon to resign. When recordings of these powerful people emerge, it can be shocking, such as with the recordings of President Donald Trump's pressurizing officials in Georgia to find votes to overturn the 2020 election results. Another example is when President Barack Obama was caught on an open mic telling then Russian President Dmitry he had have more space to negotiate after the 2012 election. The secrecy today's presidents seek might seem to protect their careers, but it also leaves everyone else to guess at what's really going through their minds. That's why it is so fascinating to hear the recorded conversation of previous presidents like Lyndon B. Johnson. There is a trove of these recordings, and many are features in CNN upcoming 4-part series on Johnson.